that this word will reach somebody, oh God. Father God, get the glory. Help me, oh God, to decrease, that you may increase, oh God. In the name of Jesus, have your way, oh God. In Jesus' name we pray for your glory. All right, the topic of our Bible study today is we actually going to be studying the first chapter of Genesis. The first chapter of Genesis. And it's believed that our author of Genesis is Moses. So Moses, he wrote 5 books. And those books are what we know as the book of the law or the Pentateuch. And the Pentateuch is the first 5 books. Pent means 5, and Tuch means books. So first 5 books of the Bible Moses wrote. So we're going to be dealing with the first chapter of Genesis. And we're just going to be dealing with that and just give you a brief background of Genesis. I like to break it up in 3 parts. You got the first part, which is his creation. And then you have the second part, which is the entrance of sin that came into the world. And then you have the third part, where God now is preparing for the redeemed. Preparing for us to be redeemed, where the Messiah is going to come through the lineage of Abraham. And that's where you got chapter 12 through 50, where God is preparing for our redemption. All right, so dealing with Moses. Who is Moses? Well, Moses is a Hebrew. And his father and his mother had him during the time of Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, was pretty much like suppressing the Israelites. Because the Israelites that came from Israel, and then through Jacob, and they end up, and Joseph had died during that time, so they end up in Egypt. And like 70 people of Jacob's family came to Egypt, and they began to multiply, right? So the king of Egypt began to give the Israelites hard labor. So, and the more that they got the hard labor, the more the king of Egypt, the more the Israelites was multiplying. So the Pharaoh said, you know what, we got to kill out their firstborn. We got to kill out their children. We got to kill out their male children, so that they would not continue to multiply. And so the order was for Pharaoh had his people to say to get the first male child, to throw them into the Nile River and kill them, so that they wouldn't increase. So Moses was born, and his mother had kept him for 3 months. Kept him for 3 months and nurtured him, and to keep him protected from being killed and thrown into the Nile River. Right? So Moses' mother kept him for 3 months, and she couldn't keep him no more. So what she did was she made a basket, put him in a basket, and made it so that it could float. And then now she put Moses in the Nile River so that he could float and not drown, and crocodiles eat him like the rest of the male kids who died from being thrown in the Nile River. So Moses was hidden by these tall grass. And the daughter of Pharaoh saw Moses and had compassion on him and took the child, and Moses' sister saw it. And what happened was Moses' sister went to Pharaoh's daughter and said, do you need me to go get someone, his mother, to nurse him? And she said, yeah, go ahead, get him to nurse, go get his mom to nurse, and I'm going to go ahead and pay her. So that's what happened. And Moses' mother got him back, and she took care of him until he got of age. So keep in mind, Moses. Can you imagine as this little baby get rescued from the Nile River? And then you got his mom taking care of him. God planned it so that Moses didn't die. See, when God got a plan for you, no matter what happens, the Bible says all things work together for the good for them that love the Lord and those that are called according to his purpose. Moses had a purpose. Moses had a purpose. God had a plan for Moses. So that's why Moses didn't die in that Nile River. Right? So the other kids, the other male children, died. Now Moses didn't die, and yet was raised. He had an opportunity to get raised by his own mother, who let him go. So during that time, Moses, I'm sure, when you have kids, and you raising kids and you nurturing kids, you talk to them about their upbringing. This would happen when he was younger. I'm sure she told the story how she let Moses go out into the Nile River in a basket. Pharaoh's daughter saw him and saved him and drew him out of the water. So when he got of age, Moses' mother sent him back to Pharaoh, his adopted mother. And Pharaoh's daughter called his name Moses because she drew him out of the water. Moses' name means to be drawn out. It means draw out or to be rescued. So think about this. God called Moses. God put him in a position where he was able to now be rescued. And his name is called Rescue. And God called Moses to rescue, as we're going to learn later on. God called Moses to rescue the children of Israel from bondage in Egypt. So now Moses, who is a Hebrew, is being raised as an Egyptian. And he learned the ways of the Egyptian. Right? So that's just a little background, a little history of Moses. So we can kind of get an idea of him writing the book of Genesis. And later on, we find out that around 1450, between 1450 and 1400 BC, the book of Genesis was written, supposedly. Most theologians would say that the book of Genesis was written around 1450 and 1400 BC. Right, so that was during the time that they had the Exodus, after the time that they had the Exodus from Egypt. So now here we are in the book of Genesis, chapter 1. We're going to read, starting at verses 1 through 5. And it reads, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Let's break that down just a little bit. That's where we get the word Genesis from, because the Hebrew word for Genesis is Bereshit. And Bereshit means in the beginning, the first, the beginning of things, when everything all started. And you got the Greek word Genesis, which means simply the beginning. So in the beginning, at the very start, when everything all began, before there was anything, God created the heaven and the earth. That word created comes from the Hebrew word rock, which means to create out of nothing. So in the beginning, at the very start of things, God created the heaven and the earth out of nothing. So it all started with God. And verse 2 says, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the And then some catastrophic event happened around verse 2, where the earth was without form. That word was in the Hebrew means to become. It became. The earth became formed. It became void. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the water. So you got, just imagine, if you will, this empty world. And it's full of water. It's formless. It don't have no form. It don't have no shape to it. And it's void. Right? And the Spirit of God, it says, it moved upon the face of the deep. That word deep means deluge or flood. So there was some type of flood that happened that caused the world to be formless. Right? God already created everything. He already created the heaven. He already created the earth. Right? And so this thing happened where everything became chaotic. Everything was chaos. Right? It was formless. It was void. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. I'm sorry, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. So what came first? What came first? Darkness. Darkness was there first. Darkness was there first. Right? So darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the water. So can you imagine this complete darkness? It's all this water, right? It's all of this chaos, but it's empty and it's void. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the deep. And God said, let there be light. Now here is where the recreation or the renewing of the world began to happen. It starts at verse 3. And God spoke everything back into existence of what was already created. Verse 3. And God said, let there be light. And there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. Now let's break that down just a little bit, because that's going to be very important to understand, very important to know about light, about day, about night, and about darkness. And it goes on to say, and the evening and the morning were the first day. So we understand that God spoke light into existence. God spoke light out of darkness. The first day, he spoke light out of darkness. Right? And he called the light day, and the darkness he called night. So let's break that down a little bit. Let's break that down. Let's break that down. What is darkness? What is darkness? I'm going to give you a definition of what darkness is. It comes from the Hebrew word poshet, which means the lack of light in a space. The lack of light. Dark. Complete darkness. Right? And the opposite of darkness is obviously light. So the darkness he called night. Right? And the light he called day. So then he goes on to say, and the evening and the morning were the first day. So what came first? Evening. The word evening comes from the Hebrew word Arab, or Arab, which means night. So, night when it's complete darkness. Darkness, darkness, darkness. So when the sun goes down and it gets dark, that's the beginning of a new day. Because it's already established in the scripture that night came first. Darkness always came first. God called the darkness night. And the light he called day, and morning the brightness. Let's dive into the word evening for a second. It says, although the Hebrew word Eric could mean night as well, but is this night meaning darkness of the time period before it gets dark? How should we understand this word evening in this scripture? How should we understand it? After reading Proverbs chapter 7, verse 9, let's go to Proverbs chapter 7, verse 9 real quick. Proverbs chapter 7, verse 9. It says, in the twilight, in the evening, in the black and dark night. So a lot of people think evening is like when it gets late in the evening, in the afternoon, and it's still daylight outside, but it's still no. This word evening in this context, it means when it's dark, when it's black outside, when the sun is all the way completely down. Right? So in the twilight, in the evening, in the black and dark night. So that's how we understand the word evening. I see a description of those words very clearly in context. Twilight, evening, and night here means the same and is describing the darkness of the night. Also, we see the word night, which comes from the Hebrew word layla. And it's used here with evening, Eric, as those 6 verses in Genesis chapter 1, when God said in the evening and the morning were the first day, and the evening and the morning were the second day, and the evening and the morning were the third day, and so on and so forth. So we understand that this evening is the beginning of a new day. And it's the dark part of the night. So, we got that understanding. So, going back to Genesis chapter 1. So far, what are we getting out of this? So far, what are we getting out of it? What are we picking up? That God is the creator. God is the creator of everything. And if God is the creator of everything, there's nothing he can't do. That means he's the boss. That means he's the landlord. He's the owner of everything. The Bible says the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein. So if God owns everything, there's no reason for us to lack anything. Because our maker, our creator, is the owner of it. And whatever we need, he said he'll supply all of our needs according to his riches and glory. Right? The cattle on 1,000 hills belong to him. And if he was hungry, he wouldn't even let us know. So this is the God we're talking about. We're talking about the creator. So with that understanding in mind, we'll know not to worry. not to fret, but we'll put our confidence and we'll put our trust in the Maker, in the Creator. So let's continue. At verse 6. And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters. Let there be a firmament. A firmament is an expanse. So just imagine, this is the world. You got the heavens up here. You got the earth down here. And in this space, where all that chaos was, where all that darkness, where all that water and all those things were, right? And where it's all empty. So you got the heavens up here, you got the earth down below, and you got all this space. So this space is the firmament. This space is the expanse, better known as the sky. So when you go outside and you see the sky, you see the open air, you see the birds flying through that open air, that's the firmament. That's the expanse. That's the sky. And that's where the birds fly, right? So, God said, let there be a firmament. He spoke it. And he separated it. We're going to find out he separated it. There was all that water that was in that firmament, it had to go somewhere. So he separated it. He put the waters up above, and he put waters down below. So that space now separates the water above and the water below. We'll find it out. Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the sky. God made the space. And divided the waters which were under the firmament, from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. Do we see how structured and how strategic God is? And it amazes me how God is so systematic. God is a God of order. Right? God is a God of order. He made the light. He called darkness out of light. So he didn't want anything where people couldn't see. So he knew we needed light, right? And he knew eventually that he was going to create and speak vegetation into existence. And he knew we was going to have all these things. So he just put everything right in order where it needs to be. And now he's making this sky. He's making this firmament. And he's separating it. He's separating it. And he's putting water above. That's how we get rain. Because there's water in the heavens. And there's water under the heavens. So that's how we got the seas. That's how we got water up above and water below. And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven. And the evening and the morning were the second day. Verse 9. And God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together, and let the dry land appear. That's very interesting. And it's very important to note. If you watch it on live, if you watch it on live Facebook, live Instagram, write that down. Where God said, let the dry land appear. Because that's going to indicate that the land, the earth, was already there. All he did was spoke it back into existence. So he pushed the waters back so that the dry land could appear. And it was so. And God called the dry land earth. But I thought in verse 1, he said, in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth. But here we see that all the waters were in one place. I'm sorry, all the waters was covering the world. Right? And God said, let the waters under the heavens be gathered together in one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. And God called the dry land earth. He called the dry land earth. God is setting everything back into its original place. Real quick, I'm going to just go to Psalms 104 and verse 30. Because it's a word in that verse that really triggered me. And that's really going to bring out what I'm trying to point out here. Psalms 104, verse 30. And it says, Thou sendest forth thy spirit, they are created, and thou renewest the face of the earth. Thou renewest the face of the earth. That word renew, wow, this is going to blow your mind right here. That word renew, and thou renewest the face of the earth. It means to renew. It means to restore. Example, place in a state or condition identical or nearly the same as a prior state. So, here we see in Genesis that God is putting everything back to its original or identical to its original state, prior state. So I thought that was quite interesting to know. So when the dry land appeared, it was already there. He just spoke it back into existence. So he gathered the waters all together. And the waters that he gathered together, he called seas. Right? And the dry land, he called earth. And God saw that it was good. And God said, Let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed. Pay attention to this, because this is going to just blow your mind. And God said, Let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, the herb yielding seed, the herb producing seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself. Keep in mind, God did not even create humans yet, but he already got humans in mind. Because he made the food, he made the vegetation to reproduce itself. Because he knew that we was going to get hungry. Just keep it real, right? We was going to get hungry. So he made it where the food was going to be able to reproduce itself. So now we're talking about the provision of God. God's provision. Right? So when you look at your situation, God will provide. God will provide. God already have you in mind. He said his thoughts toward you are innumerable. You can't even count them. God is always thinking about his people. He's always thinking, and we see that in the scripture. We see that in how he's setting everything up in order. How he's created the vegetation to be able to reproduce itself so that he can take care and feed his people. And the earth brought forth grass, and the herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the third day. And God said, I like this, let there be lights in the firmament, in the heaven, to divide the day from the night. And let them, the lights that he said be in the firmament, be in the heavens, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. Let's pause right there. And let me explain that a little bit. God said let them be for signs. And let them be for seasons. That word seasons comes from the Hebrew word moed. And it means appointed time. A time that's designated for a specific purpose. And God already set the moon and the sun and all those different solar systems that's in the heavens. God put it all there for us to be able to determine the day, for us to be able to determine the years, for us to be able to determine the appointed times. So I was having a discussion with someone, and they was asking me, well, how were they able to calculate time back then, where they say the earth, since Adam, since creation, it's been over 4,004 years, right? How was they able to understand and calculate that time? Well, God already set it up. God already set the moon up there. God already set the sun up there. He already set all these things up there for us to be able to determine and calculate time. Because you think about it, right? You think about it. If you look at the moon, the crescent of the moon, the slither of the moon, so you look at the moon and it has that little slither. That would indicate the beginning of a month. Whenever you see the slither of a moon, that indicates the beginning of a month. And whenever you see a full moon, that indicates the middle of the month, around the 15th of the month, right? So they knew the beginning of the month, and they knew the middle of the month. And that's how they were able to determine those times. When God, in Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, God had appointed those holy festivals for us to commemorate, which was Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread, and then you have Pentecost, and then you have all those other feasts. You got Feast of Trumpets, you got Day of Atonement, you got Feast of Tabernacles, the last great day. God set up even the Sabbath. God set all those feasts up as appointed times to commemorate his works, to commemorate the things that he has done. And the seventh-day Sabbath, what we is going to actually get to once we continue to read. God created the world in 6 days, and on the seventh day, he rested from all of his labor. And you find out in Exodus, the 23rd chapter, I believe, around verse 8, he tells us to remember the Sabbath day. The word Sabbath means day of rest. It's on the seventh day of the week. God only made 7 days, right? On the seventh day of the week, God ended his work. And he's told us, for us to end our work, he gave us 6 days. He said, 6 days you shall labor and do all of your work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord your God. In it thou shalt do no work, for it is the Sabbath of the Lord. And that day means rest. So when we rest on the Sabbath, what are we doing? We commemorating, or we remembering his work of creation. So all of God's festivals and all of God's holy days are centered around the plan of salvation and the plan and the work that he has done. Right? So, and we talk, and let's deal with that just a little bit, because we spoke about Moses in the beginning. Moses in the beginning and how he wrote the first 5 books, which is also known as the book of the law, or the first 5 books, the Pentateuch, right? The book of the law. So these laws, the word law just simply means instruction. God has given Moses instructions to write down, and he wrote them in those first 5 books. So we ought to keep God's law. We ought to keep God's commandments. And the Bible says, even Jesus said, John chapter 14, verse 15, he said, if you love me, keep my commandments. He that said that he know me and keep not my commandments is a liar. And the truth is not in him, says the word of God. So if we love God, we must obey his word. We must obey his law. The Bible says, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God. We don't tell God how we want to live. No, he already set the standard of how to live, because he established it and he gave Moses the law to write it down. You have different laws. You have ceremonial laws. You have sacrificial laws. And you have the law of liberty. The law of liberty is what God gave Moses to give to the children of Israel so that they can know how to live. Right? So, let's keep that in mind. Let's keep that in mind. We want to obey God's word. We want to obey God's law. And just want to share a few scriptures with you. I told you before, the law of God, God's instruction to his people about how to love him and others. And when you look at the Ten Commandments, I'm trying to see how I can break that down. It's centered around loving God and loving his people. Right? Loving God and loving his people. Right? So, let's look at that briefly. Exodus chapter 20. And God spake all these words, saying, who spake it? God. And God spake all these words, saying, this is God's law. This is not the Jews. This is God's commandments. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. First commandment. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. That's in our relationship with God. So not having no other gods before him shows that we love God more than we love this. Right? So remember I said, when we keep God's law, when we keep God's commandments, it shows our love for him, that vertical love, and it shows that horizontal love toward our neighbor. So thou shalt have no other gods before him. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I am the Lord your God. Am a jealous God. Right? Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. So that's our relationship with God. So if we take his name in vain, we disrespect him. Right? Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. That is in our relationship with the Almighty. Right? disrupting that relationship with my mom and with my dad. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. That's my relationship with my neighbor, with my fellow brother. Right? So you get the idea, you get the point that keeping God's word, keeping God's law, keeping God's commandments is in our relationship with God, and it shows our love for one another. Right? So let's get back on topic with Genesis. I just had to break down law. Just had to break that down because it's very important to understand. And I got there because I was speaking of seasons, that God has his appointed times. God put the lights in the heavens. God put the lights in the heavens, the sun, the moon, all those solar systems that's going on up there, the stars, all of that stuff. God set it up there for a reason, to determine the days and to determine the years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heavens to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. I'm pretty sure you got an idea what that is. You got the sun that's going to rule the day, and you got the moon that's going to rule the night. He made the stars also. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from darkness. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and morning were the fourth day. And we're going on down. And God said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that have life, and the fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven. And God created the whales and every living creature that moves, which the waters brought forth abundantly, after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters and the seas, and let the fowls multiply and fill the earth. And the evening and morning were the fifth day. And God said, let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind. So the earth, the creature, the cattle, the animals came forth from the earth. He said, let the earth bring forth. God made it out of the dust of the ground. God made it out of what was already created. The word made comes from the Hebrew word asa, and it means to create out of what was already made. God created the heaven and the earth. Bara, created. He made that out of nothing. But the word made is asa, which means to make out of what was already created. Always keep that in mind. So let the earth bring forth living creatures after his kind, and after his kind, cattle and creeping things and beasts of the earth after his kind. And it was so. And God made the beasts of the earth after his kind, and the cattle after their kind, and everything that creeped upon the earth after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And God said, let us make man in our image. Sounds like God is bipolar right here, because he's like, let us. But God, who is this with you? Who are you talking to? And God said, let us make man in our image. You read in John chapter 1, verse 1. And this kind of gives me chills because it just makes me think how awesome God is. John chapter 1, verse 1 says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, John chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. Whew. That word, we understand that as referring to Jesus. Right? That word in the Greek, it means logos. And you get the definition, it means the divine expression of God. So Jesus is the divine expression of God. Jesus is God's word. So every time God said, when you read in the scriptures, God said, let there be, that he's speaking Jesus. So that's why the word God says that everything that was made by him. It was not anything made that was made. So Jesus was in the beginning with God. So that's who he was talking to when he was like, let us make man in our image. Jesus was right there with him. Jesus is God, and God is Jesus. He is God's divine expression. He is the image of the invisible God. He is the image of the invisible God. Right? So God came down from heaven, dwelt in flesh. Right? So Jesus is 100% man and 100% God. So that's when he was communing with his own self. God is amazing. And I love the fact that even his name, when he was talking to Moses in Exodus chapter 3, and God was commissioning Moses to go ahead and God was commissioning Moses to go ahead and deliver the children of Israel because he had heard their cry and heard all the things that they was going through. And he was going to come down and to deliver them. Right? So Moses, he didn't want to do it. He felt like he was inadequate. He felt like he wasn't good enough. So God told him, look, you're going to go. I'm going to be with you. So Moses went on and said, well, when I go to the Israelites, who am I going to say sent me? And God said, tell them, I am sent you. I am that I am. And you read in the Hebrew, it means Ayah, Ashir, Ayah. And it means I will be what I want to be. I will be what God can be anything he wants to be. You find out later in the book of Exodus when they was walking through the wilderness, and when they had exited Egypt, and the Bible says a rock followed them. And that rock was Christ. That rock was Christ. So God can transform into anything he wants to be. Right? So that's what we're talking about. God is all knowing, he's all seeing, he's all powerful. God is God. And he can be what he wants to be. And that's what we have to understand about God. When things don't seem like it makes sense, you got to understand who we're dealing with. We are dealing with an all-powerful God. Right? So keep that in mind and make note of that. All right, so we at the fifth day. I lost my place. And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the sea. Dominion. Let them have dominion. Let them have dominion. We are managers. So when you see things aren't going right in your life, a lot of times we want to blame God. God, why this? God, why that? God, why did I lose my job? Well, did you manage it right? Did you go to work on time? Did you do your job? Right? So we can't go to Walmart, and when we go to Walmart and things aren't going right, and everything is in chaos, we don't go to Mr. Walmart and be like, what's going on? No, we're going to go to the managers because they're managing that Walmart. We are managers down here on earth. So when things aren't going right, we need to look at our management skills. We need to look at ourselves and say, what am I doing? What do I need to correct? Right? Like, do I need to fix my credit? Do I need to fix this relationship? Right? So what am I doing? What can I do? Or look at my management skills. It's not always God trying to punish you. It's God trying to let you see that you need better management skills. Right? So we managers down here on earth. God said, and let them have dominion. Let them be managers over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air. And for time's sake, I'm going to go ahead to verse 27. So God created man in his own image. And in the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. And he said to them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it. Right? So God did all that. And we get to just to summarize all that, God made all the fishes, the animals, everything. God put man in control of all of it. And God eventually made the woman, put the man to sleep, said, man need to help me. And then you get to chapter 2, You get to chapter 2, God ended all his work, and he rested on the Sabbath day. He rested on the seventh day of the week. So just to sum all of this up, we honor God, and we celebrate him for his creation. And we want to build upon this foundation. I started at Genesis chapter 1 so that we could build on a foundation of who God is, of who we dealing with. We talk about the King Eternal. We talking about the creator of the entire universe. And if a God can put a sun in the sky, and if a God can put a moon in the sky, there's nothing too hard for our God. Nothing. He asked, it was Sarah. When God promised Abraham and Sarah a child, children in their old age. And Sarah was eavesdropping when he was talking to Abraham. And God was like, Sarah started laughing when God told him, look, I'm going to make you a man of many nations. And I'm going to bless you. Your seed going to be blessed. And you're going to have a child in your old age. So Sarah over there giggling and laughing and said, how can this be? God told Sarah, God was like, is there anything too hard for God? There is nothing too hard for our God. So as you take away from this lesson, and you look at how God put things in order, he systematically orchestrated everything. We understand that when we get to the seventh day, that we got to rest. And we got to end all of our labor and worship him and commemorate the things that God has created. Pray my strength in the Lord. I'll see y'all next Bible study. Right? It is going to be the Keep praying up. God bless you. Love you. You all right, woman?
How you doing? Thank you.